It's something quite current. What do you want to talk about?
Let's talk about the 20th anniversary.
I started doing the CFA program in 91 and then finished in 93. And the reason I was attracted to this program that time I was working in treasury in a local financial institution was that I found that it was a very interesting program. There were things that I could learn which I didn't learn when I was studying to be an accountant. So there was no pressure for me those days. It wasn't my job requirement.
In the late 80s, when the few of us, in fact, I think 3-4 of us, we understand about the CFA programs, and because I was studying in the US, we was exposed. But clearly, we were back in Malaysia at one point in time. There's not even a center. There's no test center. In fact, we will have to go to Singapore to take our test for level 1. And in the second year, when we have to start taking our level 2 exam in Malaysia, I remember it was still in the IBBM office, and there were just about 6 or 7 of us. You have to pace yourself. You're working full-time. You have to be very disciplined, cram in the work, and go on. And really, that had been an interesting journey.
I was not familiar with the program and the designation when I started out. And I joined the company in 1993, and that company required us to take the exam as part of the requirement. So I signed up, not really knowing what was in store for me. But having gone through it, on hindsight, I thought it was a very excellent experience.
I got CFA Charter fairly early in my career. I think it helped me definitely in terms of to showcase that we have the technical expertise or technical skill in doing our job, doing better. And at that point in time, during this 17 years ago, not as many people had a CFA Charter. That sort of distinguish you in whichever country you go to. CFA Charter being a global standard in finance and investment, that again lifted the whole technical skill.
I remember when I did my level 3, there were only 15 of us doing level 3, and then I got to know the other charter holders. So it wasn't just me, it was a group of us that felt that why don't we start IT. We actually started work in 96, and then of course it takes us a while, and I still remember having the first meeting in the SC, and I think Coffee we were there. CFA would not have, Malaysia would not have started if not for the support of the Securities Commission. And the reason why they were so supportive is because they say, look, we want to develop the analysts, the fund management industry and the capability of it. And that was very visionary of them.
I think the timing was quite good, right? Remember, that was after the 93 Super Bull.
Yeah.
But even then, even despite the Asian financial crisis, 97, right? But after market have another legs, I think a lot of houses are setting out, and that I think spurred the interest. Few of us were really also actively involved in CFA grading. So we become CFA graders. We were, for a week or 2 in a year, we will travel to this small little town called Charlottesville, Virginia, in America, where CFA is located. Through the examination process, you really come to appreciate what CFA is all about. Very consistent, and very particular about the standard of grading. And therefore, it doesn't matter whether you take your CFA in New York or Zimbabwe, the same standard apply.
It took us a few years to reach to the 100, 200 mark, and now today we are at the 600 over mark. And bearing in mind that a lot of our members are actually working in Singapore, and quite a number also in Hong Kong. So collectively, probably definitely more than 1,000 CFA charters has actually rolled out of our of Malaysia. I think there's always that pioneering spirit when we started, and I'm glad that Kha Loon was with me and a whole bunch of others, and they were willing to come forward to help. All of us as volunteers, we taught different modules of the program to stir the interest, alright? And then we charged at a very minimal rate, and we did some fundraising, and TNB was good. They actually paid us quite well for
To the society.
Yeah, to the society, yes. We had very good feedback from them on the program as well. So I think that was really, I would say, the highlight of our early years of the volunteer spirit that we have.
Years later, I have a PNB staff who actually got a chartered holdership and came up to me and say, yeah, you taught us, and I was like, wow, I never realized that teaching fundraising translate to a lot of wonderful candidates for the CFA, and hopefully they change their career, change their life, change their path. If you really want to appreciate CFA, you must involve the society.
For a lot of charter holders that sort of have that sort of empathy about the whole thing is because you never get involved, you never truly see the global network, the global community that CFA Institute provides those CFA charter holders as a whole, as a community, as a family in a way.
When I started getting involved in the society, I served as the chair for the programs committee. So I was organizing various programs, events for the CFA Society. At that time it was called MSFA, or Malaysian Society of Financial Analysts. So the programs were quite small, so we also invited quite a lot of guests and participants from outside the society. It's also good because it created more awareness. And when I eventually became president, I think that was one of the areas that I focused on, i.e. creating greater awareness among the relevant stakeholders. So one of the things that we did at the time was, for the Charter Award ceremony, we invited sort of prominent stakeholders. So in order to create greater awareness among those institutions who deal a lot with investments, and also to give the new charter holders a sense of how important the achievement was in terms of getting a charter and becoming a CFA charter holder.
We were lucky then, basically at that point in time, we have our first president, Kha Loon, who then worked for Security Commission, and he'd been helping us to champion with the regulators.
Corporate governance reform in the country started in 1999. I was involved in one of the task force members that came up with the revised Securities Commission Corporate Governance Blueprint. And I think that's a major contribution from a charter holder and then from the CFA investment community.
Being a regulator for the capital market as a whole, obviously there are a lot of different market segments within the capital market, and having strong understanding of the various segments through the CFA curriculum helped me to understand financial services industry, especially the investment industry, can actually benefit from having those who have gone through the rigors of the program.
17 years ago, I was young and gullible then, I suppose. Mabel came to me and asked me to get involved in the society because there were free trips available. I thought that was a very good idea at that time. So that started the so-called the CFA board members' journey for the next 17 years. Free trip came and go. I'm still here, so they shows the commitment, I suppose.
We want to do forecast, so-called forecast data, to forecast stock market indexes, forecast CPO prices, forecast interest rate, forecast whatever.
As the membership grows, there needs to be a more diverse range of activities and events to attract the different needs and interests of the members. And this is where I believe the society has actually contributed and provided value to its members.
We also run a series of smaller events, about 30 to 40 people. We were focusing a lot of alternative investment per se.
The most successful programs we have had in the last 10 years must surely be the IRC, Investment Research challenge. I think that has been just a simply huge success, not only in Malaysia, but in the region and globally. And there was one year as many as 8 or 9 universities that participated. The profile has just grown so big that we are even to get very good judges from the industry as well. I think that's something we should all be very proud of.
We have done more university talk in the last 2 years than we did for the last 10, 15 years. And now with Careers Day coming in as an anchor, that has basically elevated our status among the student population. Now that with resources, with executive staff on board, I think a lot of it is not so much focused on the logistic and operation and the current new board members and also some of the existing board members that stay over has been extremely committed in terms of promoting CFA, promoting CFA program, promoting CFA ideal, so to speak, to the younger generation. Technology helps in terms of ease of connecting people together, but as a real true way of networking, learning, people still have to come together face to face and Q&A, a little bit more interactive than webcast. In terms of reaching out to the membership base, that has been a lot easier now.
Despite all these 20 years of changes, from the science to how technology have changed, but I do really appreciate that the core value of ethics, standards and continuous learning remain the core.
The number one biggest challenge is really about regaining the trust and confidence of investors.
We are seeing more the younger ones coming in, also more diversified group of new board members that was just elected. So I'm actually very excited about the future of the CFA Malaysia Society, and it's good that Jason is staying back. We need an old hand to guide them. So I think there are great times ahead after 20 years.